Hello everybody, it's Roberto here. Today we are in Barcelona in my cutting room and we're going to talk about the cutting process and the tool to make a dub plate. We introduce Benny.
What does he do for the business?
He's attending clients, welcoming clients, and invoices them too. My approach with the music business has been 20 years ago. I started to buy records, mostly electronic records. I started playing and I was very fascinated of this world, and after that I decided to approach to the production world, and I discovered the synthesizer stuff, and I started to buy a lot of synthesizer. Actually, I own a good collection of vintage stuff, a lot of Roland gear, popular Roland gear, and a lot of digital workstations and effects. And this led me to decide to buy a machine. I thought it was easy, but it wasn't. So when you approach to this market business, you should have a little bit of knowledge, because it can cost you a lot of money, a lot of waste material. Breaking a lot of stylus can break very quickly if you don't know how to manage the cutting process. You can throw away a lot of dub plate. I mean, in the end of the day, all this has a cost. So our dear Felix has delivered to us already mastered tracks, which is in format wave 24-bit, which is the best format to get your track on vinyl. What I do is checking the bandwidth of the track. We have to consider that on vinyl there are physical rules to respect. Let's say below 30 Hz and above the 18 kHz should not exceed the audible spectrum. In your track is very balanced, your track. Well, and also the stereo image is very balanced. You should always take in consideration to keep your bass in mono, to avoid any vertical groove lift at the moment of the cutting. And well, let's cut it. Then there is also a nice vintage Neumann equalizer, which utilized to boost or cut frequencies when needed, of course. And then, of course, a nice compressor, a Phoenix one, the Phoenix mastering version, to give some life to tracks that sometimes need it. So basically, I went to Germany. I bought this machine, which is a VRT 560, and I spent there 2 days and 1 day training. Why the training? Well, the man basically he doesn't sell the machine if you don't go there and you make the training. Well, I spent 1 day. I get a lot of information. After I spent 1 day there. I bought the machine and I paid cash the guy. I fly back to Spain and well, I start to cut and practice a lot. And after a year, more or less, I decided to make a mod of the machine. I decided to switch with a feedback head. With feedback cut thread, you can get louder cut, less distortion, flat response on frequencies, so it's fidelity, in other words. and a better stereo image, and that's it. It's basically a standard in the industry, the feedback cut thread for professional use. The machine comes without turntable, so you need a motor to get your record spinning. And I put a Technics SL 1200 MK2 with a steel platter, which is around 3 kilo steel platter, which helps the platter to rotate, to have much more torque compared to the original. You need torque to cut your dubplate or lacquer. Also in the professional machine, there is a direct drive motor for the lacquer to avoid the wow and flutter movement of the platter. This is the same system to a lacquer cutter. The pressing is different because you need a lacquer, you need the stamper, and then you press your vinyl. So that's the difference. The dubplate has the same lifespan of a vinyl. You can play it many times. Well, actually, I have a lot of clients in the DJing world. They play festival everywhere, so they play a lot the dubplate. Well, I do cut every type of music. I cut mostly electronic or reggae stuff, or I cut records also for birthday present. 80% of the stuff that I cut is for people who play records, so professional DJ or not, and people that has sound system too. As we know, the dubplate culture, it's the boom of the dubplate culture has been with the reggae culture, with the sound system culture around the 60s. And nowadays still used for this purpose, basically. Your stuff, your unreleased stuff, play your unreleased stuff. There is a time to wait before you get your press records or your released. So many people decide to cut their music and play it. So the service that I offer to my clients is one-off records to short runs. I do prefer don't make more than 50 copies, also because it's a big cost for people who wants to make 50 copies. The process is in real time, so that means that when you cut a record, if a record is 40 minutes, it's 40 minutes cutting. So also the price of a vinyl record, which is pressed on the factory, and a dubplate. The feedback heads that I get, it's a kind of clone of the famous Neumann heads. The engineering is much more simple, and there are probably around 100 around the world. And the guy, I think, is not doing anymore this type of cut thread because he's more focused on the professional side of this business. Since summer, there are two types of dubplate. The oldest one is made by plastic. This is a 12-inch plastic dubplate, which has a little film to protect it from scratch and other things. Then, since July, there is this new product. This one is a pressed blank. It's called pressed blank, made in France from Maishank, which is a leader in the industry. Actually, it provides dubplate, stylus, resharpening, and it has also stamper. So the difference between this one and the other one, this is made from 80% recycled plastic, and the color is made with organic colorant. And yeah, it's much more sustainable compared to the other. It's a nice product. It's much more close to vinyl. As you can see, there is a pressing mark towards the label, rounded edge compared to the other. the audio translates on the physical format inside a groove. So it's electrical signal which is translated on the diamond which cut the grooves. So each frequency has a different wave and this translates inside a groove and your music is packed in the groove, which after is then reproduced by the playback of the stylus of your turntable. This is the feedback cartridge. Basically, this one is like a cheap version, clone of the Neumann one. The engineering is much more simple than a Neumann one, but works great. And in this little hole, inside the head, there are a couple of speakers, okay? And in this little hole, it's placed a stylus diamond, a synthetic diamond, which engraved the groove. How? Well, the speaker sounds and the vibrations goes inside the shank to make the stylus moving. We were speaking before about the vertical groove lift. The groove is modulated in two way. Well, the stereo groove, because there is also mono. In the history, there was the first cutting process was in mono. Then in the late 60s, 70, stereo became a standard with Neumann. And in stereo, the groove is modulated in horizontal and vertical. Horizontal is the mono signal, vertical is the stereo signals. That's why I was saying before, we should keep the bass in mono, because we have to avoid the vertical lift of the stylus inside the groove, which leads. That's what happened when the stylus has too much vertical scorch. Okay, the grooves breaks, and the result is a skipping records. So basically, when you send your track, you should send your track in the best quality, which for vinyl suite, wave or IF 24 beats. The true peak level should be minus 1 dB at least. And of course, pivotal track or track that you care of, they should be positioned on the edge of the records. Why? During the playback, the linear velocity is decreasing. So what happened? There is a deterioration in the sound. This affects mostly the high frequency. The concept is correct, but my speech is not very good. So basically, when you send your track, the demanding or pivotal track should be on the edge of the records. Why? During the playback, the linear velocity of the stylus approaching to the center of the disc is decreasing, so that can worsen the playback and usually affects more the high frequencies. Let's change the diamond to the head. The stylus goes under a lot of stress while cutting. As you can understand, all this movement, vertical and horizontal, it has to travel a lot, you know, so it can break too. So I have to check it. When it's noisy, I have to check the stylus if there is any issue, if the tip is broken, which leads in a noisy cut, which is not good, of course. This is our beloved stylus. It's very small, but does great things. Let's change the stylus. Let's put a fresh one for your cut. So we remove this one. Okay. off. Okay, this one is off, and we put a fresh one. Courtesy of my shank. And then with the stylus tool, we center it's already centered. We push a little bit. Let's see if it's centered. Yes, it is. There are many variants that can lead to kill the stylus. That's why when I got material with like a very high volume, high frequency, I need to limiting those frequencies. That's why a balanced mix helps the mastering and so on for the cutting. So we have calibrated our cutter head. We remove the film. So those old generation dub plates comes with a square edge. What I do to make it much more close to a record, I do cut the edge like that. And other side too. Look, ole. And then we heat up the record. Now we should wait a little bit. So a good temperature is around 30 degrees. We are on 25 right now. Basically, the lead-in it's a modulate groove, which is the beginning of the first lines that you see at the beginning of your track. And then the lead out, it's a modulate groove, which ends up with a locked groove to avoid your stylus, your playback stylus to go in the center of the disc. So why we should wait for the temperature to get to 30 degrees? Because this material, it's very hard to cut. And as I said, we should have the stylus to penetrate the material and modulate the groove. So once we reach the right temperature, the vacuum pump is very important because what it does is removing the wax which is cut from the diamond. Without that vacuum pump, you're gonna get a noisy cut. Vacuum pump on. There is also this it's called main unit. It's very basic. It's like a pitch control, and it helps to optimize the LP, which is the line per inch for a record. Take in consideration that on a 12-inch you can cut maximum 19-20 minutes. Of course, this is gonna affect also the audio quality. Why? Because you have to reduce the amplitude of the groove to get much more line in a little space. And that's why also usually those records with 4 or 5 tracks, 90 minutes, that there is a lot of background noise because it's more present. The volume is much more lower to allow to put more line per inch on the records. Let's start to cut. Okay. Lead in, head on, and we start with the process. So usually for quality control, what I do is put the playback. What you're hearing right now is what is recording on the disc. And the delay is the playback. Okay. And this is your cut. What color you like?
White.
White, it's okay? Okay. White. So we sign it. It's better with the light.
Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's great.
Basically, guys, this is the process to get your music on vinyl. So this is one for you.
Nice. Benny, do you have something to say?
Hey, Benny, say something. Say something that I didn't say.